welcome again to yet another episode into design, and in this case on our lovely Henry II shooting brake. Today we are going to talk about what we have on screen here, and as is the case with our previous videos, in this video we will take the lookbook that we make bespoke for every single car we build as a guide. On the right hand screen, some of the ideas when it comes to color and materials, and that's actually what we're going to discuss in this video. So let's flick through the lookbook together with my colleague Tim. Of course, very early ideation sketches. You'll see these in our previous videos, previous episodes of Into Design, and this is what we're going to talk about today. So letters, a culmination of different materials from wood, milled aluminium, etched plates, carpets, paintwork, piping, and a host of other materials as well. So let's flick through the page exactly. Three different paints that we discovered the car had, basically. We'll talk about that a bit later at the other side of the studio, where we'll take you through the actual physical materials. A host of different tweeds, a host of different letters, these etched plates, like I discussed earlier. The letters for the dashboard, the letters for the seats, the letters for the piping, and quite a lot of other materials. All coming from research from mood boards. That's how we started this series Into Design, with the mood boards that are crucial for all the work we do. And on the screen here on my right, you'll see a beautiful overview of what is basically the final design work, including the color and materials. So there's this original green tweed that we do in the pockets, in the doors, in the speaker elements as well, where the covers, so the metal speaker covers, were painted in the color of the actual tweed. We've got the carpets here, tweed inside, mesh leather, of course some metal jewelry and switchgear that you find into the doors as well. Then we have the original front seats, but they were actually redesigned inside as well. So the foam core was changed, and the driver asked for that because he said, you know, when we're doing the rallies, I'm sliding around the seat a little bit because, of course, the seat of a Corniche is quite flat and straight. So we changed the foam core of the seat and made sure that the look is entirely OEM, but once he sits in it, he's actually slightly more held into the seat by the foam core of the seat. So we are going to the other side of the studio, and we'll meet you there again, where we will talk about the actual physical materials. So welcome to the other side of the studio. This is our little living room where we invite our clients, if they have the possibility, to come over to Ude to actually join us in the conversation and to look at materials. So on the screen here we have a photo of the door panel, and the panel we just discussed at the design part of the studio. What do we see here? Well, a combination of all these different materials. So we're talking about the restored wood, the original wood, the entirely newly upholstered door panel. Of course, we looked at a host of different leathers. We've got tweed, we've got dark green piping that we introduced to the design of this car, because this car didn't have any piping, everything was the same beige. Then, of course, we have new carpets on the lower sides of the doors, but of course also in the interiors. We've got bright work, switch gear, for instance, the little switch for the rear bench. Yes. We've got the pocket in which that sits, which is the speaker pocket, in tweed, and inside the heart, of course, the actual speaker cover is painted, as I said in the earlier part of this video. So let's zoom into the interior of that car, because materials are very important to make the design come to life. And one of these things you'll see on the screen here now, which is the inside of the glove compartment. Of course, the wood was restored, and inside here you've got, in our case, an etched plate. So the original car has a sticker there. Yeah. And we felt we could do it just a little bit nicer, a little bit more three-dimensional even. And I've got one of the examples we produced here. And you can see, if I move that around a little bit. These letters are slightly laying on top of the painted black surface. Of course, we have the Henry II logo on the left top corner.
With the title as well.
Yeah.
And the roundel and our logo as well. Over there.
On the right hand side, yeah.
Besides that, the information is just like the original one. Tire pressure, fuel, etc. With a slight addition, as we see the occupants right here, we added the line of the 2 bikes, which we can carry in the back, to make all of it complete and suiting to this specific car.
Yes.
To make this custom as well, bespoke.
Yeah. Moving on to the next material we're going to discuss today. Tweed. We already touched on it on the door panel we discussed, and on the photo here we'll find the overview of the dashboard with that restored wood and that lower panel where we have that plaque. Here inside a little hidden feature, a little hidden gem or an Easter egg, tweed. Just to show you the amount of tweed we went through and we did tests with. That's why you see some parts are cut. These are a host of different green tweeds, but also other colors that we experimented with, that we went through with or without herringbone pattern, for instance. Quite a different setup. Or an entirely green one that's even a bit more rough. Or perhaps this one with a little red touch. A more classic herringbone, or perhaps a forest green. And a very dark brownish, or again with some yellow touches. Or perhaps like this. Or a proper herringbone, a bit rougher, and again here a brown, way more fine herringbone. You see, we really did go through quite a few different iterations, possibilities and ideas when it comes to applying tweed to the interior of Henry II. We've designed books for the client as well. Of course, our clients are very busy people. Here on top you see the actual final piece of tweed we picked, and the book that we designed for this client is something we ship to the client with all the different materials in there. So that goes for the leathers, the tweeds, the carpets, and even the paints. So these are actually elements that come from the original car. So cutouts. In this case, this was the original C-pillar. You can still see the engineering elements behind it. And we paint the actual original car in one of the 3 colors we actually designed. I'm going to quickly head out to our inspiration wall to get the 3rd piece, which actually features a soft metallic. These 3 are actually colors that were coming from the original car. So we dived into the paperwork of the car. This is the actual central part of the rear of the car. This used to feature the reverse light. This is the shut line of the boot. And this is a flat green. And you can see again it's an original piece of metal, so they are a bit damaged, but we also think this adds to the charm of the car. And it really helps the client to see the paint full scale. Tim is picking up the rather heavy part of the C-pillar. And why is that heavy? Well, because if you look at that cut there, that's the thickness of this piece. And that's original Mulliner Parkwood tin. And why tin? Well, because, again, walking to the inspiration wall, This is a little bit of tin that the workshop kindly gave to us that came from the original bodywork of the car. Back in the days when there was no Bondo yet, let's say, tin was the actual material they used to make sure that the body surfaces were perfect, straight, smooth. That's why if you cut a car, you suddenly feel literally how heavy a piece of Rolls-Royce can be. So, in that book, a host of different colors, materials, leathers, tweeds are joined. And that brings us again to the interior of the car, where we've discussed the tweeds, and we also would like to discuss the area that is right in between the exterior paint and the interior tweed, carpets and leathers. So I'm inviting you to come around and see what we have on the screen here. That's actually the sill of the car with the original dealer tread plate. And of course, for this car, we decided to make sure we have a nice tread plate, polished by hand, with of course the Henry II logo in the left upper corner. Coachwork by Niels van Roij Design, Henry II shooting brake, 1 of 1, special commission. So we have a host of different materials that we haven't spoken about yet. For instance, the carpets.
Yeah.
And very important on top of that, the lamps wool carpets. And this was actually an idea coming from the missus. She said, I don't think the car will be complete without it. And she was quite right. This very car didn't have them. So we made them to match with that interior, that beautiful, slightly olive green, yeah, you could call it olive green, rather than let's say forest green, as we saw in the tweeds. All these materials coming together with the leather and the final tweed.
And the piping, of course.
And the piping, exactly.
So it's a bunch of materials.
Yeah, and to make sure that all these different materials, so we looked at different lamps wool carpets, we looked at different actual carpets, and that not just the color, but also the depth of it and the amount of threads on the square centimeter. And that makes quite a difference, because the higher they get, the color changes, the shadows and the light interplay is different. And what we do want is that they each have their own character, but also that they work together as a team. So the different applications of the piping and the top of the dashboard, the major surface of the doors, the tweeds, etc., they all have to work together nicely. So hopefully you enjoyed this insight into the materials of Henry II shooting brake, and we're still only skimming the surface here in the amount of work that we actually did.
Sure.
And on the next videos we will tell you more about the design work that went into this car. And maybe nice to quickly touch on are a few of these 3D printed elements that we actually designed as well, of course in-house, printed in-house. What is that?
This is the foot of the bag.
Exactly.
That fits right in the strips we discussed earlier, and I believe these steps we also discussed earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, so the luggage strips, which are milled, which we have a specific video on, they lock basically the bespoke luggage that we can put on top. So in that way the luggage strips hold the bags so they don't slide around the interior left to right. What we have in my hand here are only two of the many 3D printed handles for the bespoke luggage rack.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about that?
So no, not the luggage rack, but the
bike carrying system, of course. Yeah.
And
sorry.
of course they are 3D printed only for test fitting and to see several variants of them.
Yeah.
And how they would look eventually. And after that we can produce them in, when we are certain about the look of it,
Yeah.
we will produce them in CNC aluminium and add them to the car.
Yeah.
To make the whole...
Just to show you what the differences are, maybe Tim can talk about that when I'm looking for some of the other ones we did, which are underneath this table.
Both of these are applied to the car. One with the H of the logo and one with the script Henry II, just to give more information to the user of the bike carry system.
But also tell them something about, for instance, the curvature of the top end, right? So these are flat.
So these were one of the first ones we've made, which is quite straight, fully straight and flat.
Flat, yeah.
And the final one has a curvature and tension in the surface, in this way.
It's a double
this
curved
way,
surface.
and this way.
Yeah, every single part is
This
double
way.
curved. Yeah, and that makes the car look eventually more like a whole. So it's the consistency is key here.
Yeah.
So a door handle should have the same look and feel as a fender or as a dashboard or a seat or even the element.
The pieces you touch.
Yeah. So consistency in design is key, and almost no piece of design that looks good has fully straight lines. I think we can be pretty clear about that. So color and materials are a important and super interesting part of car design, and especially car design for coach building, because there's a lot of meaning in these colors. The car was actually originally delivered new in a metallic green. However, the client knows the car as it was driven by his uncle when it was repainted in that solid green, which has this lovely touch of olive in it,
Yes.
just like the carpets we found for this car. And to other people it might just be a, let's say, British racing green, but to the client it's the car he loves, remembers, and knows for over 40 years. And through colors and materials you can add so much more story to the car, specifically to the client. That's true car design for coach building. That's really the bespoke touch that we deliver to our clients.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to discussing more on Henry II shooting brake in the next Into Design video. Cheers.